Greetings. Welcome to a short movement moment with Jen. This movement sequence will all be standing today. So if you have a mat to stand on and if you're able to be barefoot, I think that would be nice for some of the quick stretches we'll do. And if you have a wall nearby, even if it's kind of out of vision of your device, I'll just cue you in on how to maybe add in a little extra stretch with the wall. So let's connect just in a standing position. If you're at your mat, maybe at the top of your mat, feet hip distance, and just bring your hands in and start to work a little bit through the feet. So if you do have the opportunity to be barefoot, just finding some kind of rolls up onto the toes to the ankles. You could even do one leg at a time, kind of finding a moment of balance, but just moving through the ankles and the feet. So we take, I notice I'm wiggling my fingers at the same time, but just giving some care to the parts of our body that just hold us up literally all day long, taking a little moment here. And then when you're ready, taking some time to move through the hip on one leg at a time. So again, there's maybe a little bit of balance here. I'll turn to face you, but switching legs whenever you want, just finding some hip circles, some movements, just to create a little bit of mobility and a little warmth in our body with this quick stretch, just to make sure that we've had a little chance to fire things up, catch a little breath here. And then when you feel balanced on both sides, we'll set the feet again side by side underneath. Take a big breath in, reach up. As you exhale, take a bit of a cactus bend, open the arms, lift your heart. And then I'm going to bring my arms overhead, interlace the fingers, sweep bent elbows and a little rounded upper back to stretch the other direction. And then feel free to go back and forth. So just paying attention to your spine here. So I'm finding a little bit of a back bend as I lift and reach behind. And then I'm just rounding more through my upper back. I'm trying to keep my lower back more neutral with that kind of rounded position, but just take a few more moments, use some breath here. Even if that is also a part of this movement moment, is just connecting with our inhales and exhales as a way to reset in our physical body and in our mind. And then we'll take one more just big reach up, stretch up. And as your hands come down, put a little bit more weight in your left foot. Step your right toes back as far as you'd like. If you can be on the tippy toes, do so. And let's just find a high lunge with the hope of finding a stretch in the right hip flexor. So you can choose how much bend in the left knee that you'd like, but feel a little lift and lengthening of that right hip flexor. And if you'd like to, you could take a moment again to reach the arms up, feeling as much stretch from your right fingertips. I'm going to turn to face you all the way to your right toes. And if you want to join me, I'm going to create a bit of a tilt here. So I'm going to rest my left arm just gently by my left side and just find a side bend, reaching right fingertips toward the right side, breathing into the right rib cage, softening the right shoulder away from your right ear. And then taking a big breath up, reach up. And we're going to creep our right foot a little bit closer to the left. I'll turn back sideways and start to hinge at your waist as you straighten through the left leg. So notice my right knee has a little bend. Maybe your right foot comes all the way down. You could also curl your left toes up. So a little hamstring stretch. I'm going to flow with breath. So I'm using an inhale to lift my heart a bit. Exhale to soften at the waist. So notice I'm not rounding my back to create this stretch. I'm using that hinge at the waist and that really active lift of my left toes. Take your next in breath to rise up. Let's open up, face all 10 toes out wide, maybe to the side of your room. Take a big breath in to stretch the arms. As you exhale, come down, bringing your thumbs to the insides of your thighs and find some revolved goddess movements here. So this goddess shape of the legs, you might find a little opening of the hips, so energizing the knees back behind you. And as I'm turning sideways again, as I'm alternating shoulder dips, I'm keeping again my chest really lifted. So I'm finding this rotation in the spine, but not collapsing or dumping into my lower back at all. And then when you're ready, we'll pause, coming back up to rise up, turn back to face the front of your mat and step your right foot up next to the left. Just take a big stretch up, reach up. As you exhale, hands come down. We'll step the left leg back. Again, as far of a stance as you want, hopefully up on the toes. Give a little tuck and drop to feel a stretch in that left hip flexor. So there's little ways you can feel that. You might be tucking the hip, you might be lifting the left leg long, but just breathe into that space. Perhaps you join me for a few breaths with a big reach up, driving through to lengthen as much as you can from your left fingertips down to your left toes. I'll turn once again, maybe side tilt. Right arm down, left arm reaches up. Feel softness within this. So notice when we're trying to find some stretch, this shape, sometimes I realize I'm getting really tense. Can you breathe? Soften, release. Next, inhale, rise up, step your left foot again a little closer to the right, and let's start to hinge and find your hamstring stretch. So I do like planting my left heel. I am curling my right toes up. And again, if you see me from the side, I'm using that bending at the waist. I'm not dumping or rounding into my back to create this stretch. I'm sending my hips way back and up. Feel some breath, maybe a little kind of lift and lower with your breath. And then when you're ready, rise up, reach up. We're just going to stretch up, step left toes next to right. If you are near a wall, if not, we'll find some cactus arms. Let's face the wall, left arm, either straight out, kind of pressing palm, and we'll start to connect left shoulder toward the wall, turn away. Or you could do this with a cactus bend position, whatever may feel best. But that little balance of trying to soften your left shoulder toward the wall as you rotate your body as much as feels good. And again, if you don't have a wall today, I would stay in this cactus bending opening, just energizing that space across the front. And whenever you are ready, I encourage you to stay longer. For the sake of the recording, I'll just have you begin to prepare your body to switch. And you might choose something different. So this side might feel good with the palm with the arms straight. This side might feel better with the cactus arm. Notice what that does differently to the stretch. But that idea of kind of softening right shoulder toward the wall as you're turning your body. Where could your body use a breath here? Take another full breath in, full breath out. Stay as long as you like. Feel free to pause the recording and then start to make your way away from the wall. Just give yourself enough space wherever you're facing. Let's take a big breath in, reach up. As you exhale, gently twist to the right. Left fingers forward, right fingers back. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, twist to the left. So just a little flowing movement for the spine here. Go back and forth just a few more times with your pace of breath. Maybe it feels good to take every inhale, every exhale. Maybe it's feeling better to pause. I'll give you just a few more rounds of breath again with my guidance, but please feel free to stay, to linger, just giving a little reset to the spine. And when you are ready, taking one final stretch up, extend up, exhale, press your hands together, bringing your thumbs right over your heart space. A little smile, a little breath, a little softening. Thanks for making time for your body. Namaste.